like and subscribe. How do you handle all the casual sexism on Reddit? The same way I deal with the casual sexism everywhere else. Avoiding particularly bad spaces, calling it out when it's worth addressing, ignoring when it's not. I also occasionally just switch the genders on their own narrative just to make a point. So a couple of months ago I posted to the unpopular opinion that women are more fit to lead because of our biology, which makes us more agreeable and nurturing. I don't buy that argument though. Anger ensued. But the point was missed. Then I concluded they are just stupid. Was just going to write this lol. Yeah, I really have nothing to add to this. Spot on. It's angering, but at this point, I laugh at these emotional, irrational, undesirable lonely boys who spout and spam the same insults, revenge fantasies, all day, every day. Across numerous subs, they casually call women slurs and make predatory remarks, but if we state any preference that negates attraction to any of them, it's a crime against humanity. Many resent that women can choose who they want now, or choose to remain single instead of having to tolerate someone they don't desire for survival. Yep. I have seen threads, not necessarily on Reddit or not only on Reddit, where the men actually resent that the only way they get to have sex is if a woman consents to it. That women therefore control access to sexual release for men, where we can have sexual release anytime we want. Yeah. That's right, Jagath. Many resent that women can choose who they want now, or choose to remain single instead of having to tolerate someone they don't desire for survival. That does seem to be the main kernel of lot of the anger about feminism. It is really pathetic. Oh, absolutely. These men expect women to lower their standards and settle for someone they don't love or aren't attracted to, but they certainly don't expect men to do the same. Where do they find the energy? I mean, really. Boggles the mind. Just take solace in the fact that you have such a limited interaction with them, and thank God you're not their friend or family. They have no choice but to be single. I try to ignore it, but often I just end up feeling so angry about it. And when I'm mad enough to actually respond to it / call it out, then I usually end up more upset, because a bunch of assholes start downvoting and responding to me, excusing the sexism, or coming up with more BS. Ugh, it's just so frustrating. Couldn't relate more. It's just sad at this point. I go to r/twarks chromosomes to feel better and find community, but there are so many disheartening posts there that my faith in men is just getting depleted every single day. Try r/witches's patriarchy, it's a very supportive sub. Don't worry your pretty little head about it. Just Milo vertical bar, you're so much prettier when you smile. /s. Yeah, I feel you on this. At this point I know I will feel worse if a bunch of insults start dumping on me and downvoting me, and plus they probably won't change, so I just report, if appropriate, and move on. But Reddit makes me really angry on a regular basis, and I have to keep to the subreddits that I know are well moderated and not full of dumbass men. It's just annoying when you just want to be on a subreddit for something seemingly benign that you're interested in, and you just can't escape the sexism and woman hating. I had to leave the main bicycling subs because if you are not a super fit man or trying to become one, you get treated like and have to watch dudes just assume everyone interested in cycling must be a man. You're blowing things out of proportion. You are grasping at straws. That's not how it is. You're just upset because you're on your period. This won't stop. In my first week on Reddit, back when I was young and full of hope, I commented that I wouldn't feel safe giving my address to a man for a first date, that I would prefer meeting him somewhere, rather than having him come to my house. Good glory, did that unleash a tidal wave of insult backlash. I got told I was mad and crazy for feeling unsafe when rape and gender-based violence statistics are on the decline. I live in South Africa, they are most definitely not. That I was completely uneducated on actual crime figures, and that I didn't deserve to date nice guys in the first place, but I hope not. Now I just read and don't respond. So yeah, that was fun. Also fun, being told how safe my country is by teenage boys who probably couldn't even point it out on a map. I love it when these random dweebs pull out his men are 3 times more likely to be murdered or something, and if they are not scared we should not be. It is like, you really wanna be ignorant, huh? Like when Sarah Everard was kidnapped, and a lot of the UK subs were talking about her, but there would be so many dense men trying to hit us with facts, when we said it was scary and disheartening. When are more likely to die? Actually you have nothing to be worried about. When are not scared of leaving the house at night. It is rarely ever strangers. etc etc. Read the room UAS *% vertical bar. A young woman was kidnapped, raped, and murdered by a police officer. Have a smidge of awareness. Hey, a fellow South African, yeah, the political disconnected of all the American Redditis plus the sexism can be really frustrating. Honestly, I just avoid subs with those kinds of Redditors and stick to subs like this one, and fandom subs. I had a very similar conversation. Some dude actually tried to tell me that women take men home 15 minutes after meeting them *ALL the TIME*. I actually went off on him and listed in detail how insane that is, both to claim that when you're not a woman, and for a woman to put herself at risk like that. He ended up deleting the comment that I can't fathom the mindset of trying to assert what women do and don't do when you've never in your life had to think the way women do about their own safety. Unreal. I remember on my first date with my ex, I didn't want him to talk me home cause I didn't want him to know where I lived. Met him on a dating app for context, but he insisted plus wouldn't let me say no because he needed to be gentlemanly and make sure I was safe. Which I appreciate, but how am I supposed to know whether you are actually just making sure I'm safe or you are planning to do something else? I'm not going to have that level of trust in someone I only just met, and not to mention how rude it is for me to repeatedly say no and have him do it anyway. I really do appreciate the idea. I know this is what many of them are taught they should do to be polite, but there's a difference between offering and insisting. This bothers me about Reddit, that everything is from a US perspective. Not everyone is in the US. Where I live, women pay heavily for getting pregnant out of wedlock, abortion is illegal, etc etc. So yeah, the stupid statement that women have rights it is the 21st century thing does not apply globally. Does all of that happen via DMs, or do such people just reply via comments? Not following the most prominent subs. Had to unfollow r/funny and r/memes and many more similar subs for the same old stereotypes posted every day. Pick my battles. First I check the vibe of the post, and when I see that a normal discussion and open communication wanna be feasible, I refrain from commenting. When it is obviously trolling, I also scroll by. I don't take any DMs either. Always take the high road. Explain, educate but not insult, and make fun of them. Refrain from saying just Google it. We see not everyone uses the internet like you, and there is always confirmation bias. Yeah, why is men so sexist? Worse still, I kept trying to argue. It is fruitless. 1v so many sexist men. They downvoted me so much, and I'd end up getting upset. I left it, and life on Reddit is much better now. Yeah, I recently left Funny. I think I have left about 5 subs recently, just for absolute blatant misogyny. Funny was so obvious, I went to the comments assuming they would all be tearing the up a new one. Nope, just a bunch of high fives disguised as comments. Fatter as when I realized it had thousands and thousands of upvotes. Well. Memes is low-key an insult dungeon. They keep sharing the same stupid stereotypes about women again and again. I realize that the vast majority of people on this website are men who are lame as and probably never leave their basement, so there is no point in me getting mad and ruining my day over it. I ignore them and live my life in the real world. And all the rape jokes JFC. Thank you. You can't argue with crazy. I tried when I was younger. These woman hating, keyboard creeping losers aren't worth the time. Sexist jokes on here remind me that Reddit is still *THATREDDIT*. Ick now? Likes robots more than people. I kind of hope they're people who stay at home, but I've found that some of them appear to be perfectly adjusted humans in the real world until they slip and say something disgusting. I reckon there's a lot of 12s on here avoiding doing their high school homework by being sexist in comments, so I'm not super invested in any online retaliation. Though maybe I should distract them from their homework so that they can't occupy powerful positions due to poor grades. It's a hard decision. 12s? As in 12-year-olds. So there was an article posted on r/science about apple-shaped women are treated worse than pear-shaped, and all the comments were basically, well, if you are fat, you deserve it. And as an apple-shaped woman, I know I am treated differently by men, but to see so many just blatantly saying I deserve it really sucked. I saw that one. It's pretty freaking harsh, isn't it? And like the study was literally talking about that attitude. Two women can be the same amount of overweight with two different body shapes and be perceived differently. And the evidence was right there. I'm not sure I'm an apple shape, because get certainly never gets stored in the boobs, but the belly is like #1 for me, and I have basically no waist. It sucks to be perceived as lesser, just because of the way I was born, and this is such a small example of it, but still has such an impact. The assumption, which many of these comments express, that these men are incels or basement dwellers or high schoolers could not be any further than the truth. These men are everywhere. Fear your fathers, brothers, boyfriends, and sons. Fear the nice neighbor you waved to yesterday while washing your car. They're your cool history teacher. They're the ones controlling your media. Fear the ones running in politics. Fear the ones running your businesses. To answer the question, I stick to female spaces, including the so-dubbed misandrist ones, and have trained myself to feel angry, even feel cathartic with my rage. Never get desensitized to it, normalize it, or see it as default behavior. Our foremothers prove that it makes you vulnerable to more. And when there's no one around, and the consequences are low, I log into an alt and start screaming anyhow I can, because that's cathartic as. And I love my own anger. This is the worst thing actually. I've had too many occasions where I've gotten close to a man I thought was a feminist, and then they get comfortable with you and start making sexist remarks thinking you'll agree for some reason. The political compass subsealed the deal for me that no, I only hope these guys with such disgusting views get a wife while you get rich, then divorce her and trade for a 25Y/O. Are not fathers, bosses, or my intellectual peers. But they are. And I have let the rhetoric of a woman 25 equals the only desirous or nurse or in particular really impact my self-esteem and health. I'm so angry. Beautifully said, sister. As a computer scientist, I unfollowed all the subreddits related to it. It got too much for every other joke to be about how they cannot get a girlfriend and don't know how to talk to women, only computers. It made me too anxious about entering the industry and having to work with similar men. I also follow an excess of positive subreddits so it balances out. r/Katajakor and r/Kurleha being two of my faves. This is so annoying. Are you still in the industry? And men wonder what the appeal is of joining women-owned businesses over male-dominated ones. I changed my major away from computers altogether because the men in the classes did not pass the vibe check, and I did not want my workplace to be 24/7 sexual harassment. I left for a female-dominated field that I liked less just because of it. I really feel for you. I am a 40-year-old male software developer. It is. I'm toxic. I am not sure how you survive. I hope things can change, but I don't think they will. Good luck D. I use it as fuel to remember why calling out sexism is so important. I'll never waste my energy engaging with these assholes online. Have done it before, not worth it. A huge amount of them are super young and ignorant, or B, old enough to know better but maladjusted and certainly not living a whole and happy life outside this platform, otherwise they would not spend so much time here spouting their bull. That being said, I keep in mind anything on Reddit could have been written by someone I know in real life, so I focus my energies there. Tide is shifting, and these losers know there's nowhere else they can get away saying this. Anywhere but anonymously online. I follow a lot of female subs. Same here. I remind myself that some people are simply trolls. They'll never listen to reason, because their only goal is to tire us out. It's a total energy drain, so I pass on that mess. This is it. Do not waste your precious energy challenging sexist men on the internet. Work on calling it out in real life instead. Call it out, then close the app for the rest of the day. The hero we need. Call it out, then click disable inbox replies. It is very frustrating, but I find that submerging myself in women-led or women-centric subs help a lot by protecting a peaceful vibe. I try to address sexism on here when I feel like it, but they should be Venmoing me for that education tbh. Helps that I can vent to subs like this one though. Same way I handle it in everyday life. Just try to ignore it. I called them out. Someone tried to mansplain into me something demonstratively wrong. My bae is in the field and they were wrong. But they opened by calling me bro. I enumerated asterisk ALL asterisk the reasons they were wrong. Case I won't tolerate that type of attitude toward me in any forum, online, my children, or in my classroom, starting off with calling them out on not everyone on Reddit is a male, and I'm most assuredly not your brother. When somebody calls you bro, call them lady. Downvote and move on. Unless I see a funny way to call them out, in which case I call them out for, as long as it's funny for me, and then move on. What else am I gonna do? Spend my life making sure no one on the internet has stupid ideas? I was just thinking how men and some women think that sexism isn't really a thing anymore, that you don't experience it particularly often. I roll, but then I go online and it is so apparent and it actually really affects and angers me. How people behave viral and what they will voice when amongst their own are really vastly different. Luckily mostly I notice it from people just not voicing edgy jokes in public. When it gets too frustrating I know it's time to get off the internet. Seriously though, staying too much on any social media, LinkedIn included, is so. I'm bad for my well-being. I have to force myself to get off the internet every now and then just to cool off. Be happy that I am not attracted to such people in real life. I hex them. I don't bother with it. Fear not going to change their mind regardless of what anyone says. I don't get paid to fight with some random person online, so I am not going to waste energy on it. Get me right, there are plenty of fights that are worth it. The ones online though, not so much. I can't ignore it, but also I have no rights to say SMTH to this people. I mean not some words of disrespect, but questions about thoughts of people writing sexist comments. This type of action is under rules and mods. Just delete my comments. Between the casual sexism, casual homophobia and casual antitheism, I actually kind of like this place. I roll my eyes at the bad apples, sometimes downvote and report them, and move on. Nothing's gained from paying attention to assholes. It's not my job to make random strangers on the internet see the error of their ways. Sexist people are only making life harder for themselves by being angry and defensive at 50% of the human population. Let them be. I've got my favorite smallish, specialized subs where that kind of thing generally doesn't happen and is collectively called out if it does. Same as I do eye roll, try to ignore it. Tap into my feminist killjoy anger to finish a rep when I'm feeling low energy at the gym. Leave the sub if I see it too often. I posted a picture of my censored underboob on r/askdocs the other day because I had a rash and my doctor was stumped as to what it was. Some guy messaged me saying I don't know what the rash is, but you have great boobs. I just roll my eyes and ignore/block them where appropriate. Sometimes it's just not worth your energy to try to educate or inform. Protect your own time/energy/mental health. The answer is that I don't handle it very well. I think it is very upsetting, and it has sadly made me lose a bit of faith in men. I often try to point out the sexism, but often get downvoted by all the misogynistic men out there giving each other virtual high fives over their sexistic posts. I used to be very involved with memes, and make memes, but all the sexism over it r/memes has kind of taken the fun out of it for me. I have many times thought about leaving Reddit altogether. If I just knew of an equivalent place with less sexism, I would have a long time ago. I don't frequent subs where it is a major issue. Block and ignore. Downvote and move on /carrot. I actually left a community recently, and I'm considering leaving another, because while they are intended to be spaces for people with certain mood/anxiety disorders, I am seeing an increasing amount of casual misogynists. Anybody that says anything sexist, racist or ignorant just gets an immediate block. I unfollow the worst subs, and usually try to ignore the rest, unless I feel like it's safe for me to address. Just like I do in real life tbh. Which are the worst sub. Hang out in safe/relaxing subreddits like this one, nature ones, dog pic ones, etc. I quit 9 gag years ago, because I got so I'm sick of the sexism. With major annoyance. Sometimes I pick the fight, sometimes I don't. I call it out sometimes, if the topic isn't too heavy, and I'd be lambasted for bringing up such a minuscule issue compared to whatever it was they were talking about. I often correct female or girl to woman, and generally get chat on for it. Why does Reddit do nothing about sexism, misogyny, racism, and hate speech in general? Why are there still rampant subreddits full of hate? I am getting sick of their lack of action. I scroll past the comments/posts. Unlike such users, I don't spend my whole day on a site, meant for occasional use, and base my whole identity on how supposedly superior I am compared to an entire class of gender. I have better things to do. You've been visited by the ghost of a very important man. Pay your respects by liking and subscribing, and he'll grant you 3 weeks of good luck.